The joy that these brothers and sisters have, just being together, should not be taken for granted in this story. Each one had been put in foster care and separated.
Bubby, make sure you brush your teeth while you're up there.
Robert Carter, now 33 and the owner of a Cincinnati hair salon, became a foster parent to 3 brothers in 2018. And then one day he heard something that was particularly painful for him.
I overhear my oldest son, Robert, talking about their sisters. So I asked him, like, hey, you got sisters? And he's like, yeah, we have sisters.
What did you think in that moment when they said, yeah, we have sisters, and they had been separated?
I thought they were lying, to be honest, because no one's told me about siblings.
But that obviously hit a chord with you because you'd been separated from your siblings.
Right. Now, the parallels with his own young life and those of these 5 children are striking. Robert Carter was placed in foster care at the age of 13 and not destined to be adopted.
So you lived with your mom for the first 13 years?
Yeah.
Dad too, or just mom?
Just mom.
What was your mom dealing with? What was she struggling with?
She was a single parent of 9, and she also had alcoholism.
Do you remember not eating some days?
No, because we always say, I was the oldest, so I always made sure we had something to eat. I was go steal from corner stores, even if it was like chips and stuff for my siblings, because we had to eat in order to survive.
Did you ever turn to drugs?
No.
Alcohol?
No.
What do you think kept you away from that?
Seeing what my mom and dad went through, how it affected them, how it affected us.
He's gonna pass it around.
It was against that background that he sought help from the foster care agency in Cincinnati, Ohio, to find the boys' missing sisters and reunite a family.
We've been through a lot, and especially me. And it's a lot of pressure being the big sibling because you have to put on a good image. And it's like, it's a lot because they look up to you.
The cool thing about your dad is your dad has also been in foster care. So he knows what you guys have gone through.
It helps a lot because some people don't understand.
But he knew what had to be done. And that is where Magistrate Regina Stargel comes in. Because Robert Carter decided he wanted to adopt all 5 brothers and sisters.
So I'm thinking, you made it out of the foster system. You're starting your own life. You're young. This is your chance to do you. And people are selfish, and I'm expecting him to do you. So why are you taking on the obligation of 5 kids? I'm like, convince me.
You didn't really have a father figure constantly in your life. So where did you learn how to be a good parent?
From not having one. I give them everything I wanted, from the affection to the attention to the stuff we do together. So I just try to do everything I wanted as a child and my dad, I do to them to make sure that they have everything I wanted and more.
In court in 2020, an adorable family in waiting made the newspaper.
His kids came in dressed in finery in red and black is what I recall.
And they faced Judge Stargel's scrutiny.
I'm looking to see body language. How are the kids interacting with each other as well as the petitioners as the testimony's being taken? And I was like, this is the real deal.
The real deal. And under her court order, a family. Now, as Robert Carter watches his children joyfully play together, he also sees what may have happened had the children stayed in the foster care system.
So we're at my old apartment where I was in independent living when I was 16, by myself, coming home every day to nobody to greet me, nobody to cook me meals, no one to wake me up, say good morning or anything.
No one to welcome him home. That's what he remembers most about living in this apartment building while he finished high school. After living in 2 foster care homes, he was sent here to live on his own.
It was hard. It was one of the most depressing times of my life. Something I would never want any of my kids to go through or anything like that.
Can you tell me about some of those moments?
I probably said it was my graduation. Because when you imagine graduation, you imagine, the day of, your parents waking you up, and it's your big day. And it was none of that.
He filled his days working 3 jobs.
Stay busy so I wouldn't have to go home alone, basically.
So you work concessions at the Reds, Cincinnati Reds.
Dishwasher at Chipotle.
Dishwasher at Chipotle.
And I was a cashier at Wendy's.
As rough a childhood as you had, how were you able to turn that into such a productive adulthood?
I feel like I just use my trauma and my hurt and stuff to be my fuel to keep going and to want better and want to help people and do better in life.
It's inspiring that given all you've been through, you were able to graduate high school.
Because most foster kids don't.
When he had aged out of the foster care system at age 18, never having been adopted, he started to make sure that other people like him didn't become statistics. So he first got custody of his younger sister. Then at 21, he became the guardian to his 13-year-old brother. And then he started to take in foster children.
Is you doing this trying to fill a hole in yourself?
I don't think so, because I told myself once I start my family, nothing else is going to matter. And literally nothing else matters now that I have my family, because they're together.
Their togetherness extends to everybody pitching in at the salon, which they depend on to support their family.
It's joy in everything, I feel like, when it comes to kids. Because it's a memory. It's stuff I didn't get.
And guess what? That joy has spread. We wanted Judge Stargell to see the family she allowed to be together almost 3 years ago today.
We are reaffirming the adoption of the Carter kids.
You should know, too, the family that Robert Carter brought together now also includes his mother, who gave up drinking 4 years ago, and his father. Robert has reconciled with them and embraced them as parents, giving his children grandparents. It's a family all together by the force of one very loving man.
Man, David, you just had layer upon layer upon layer of goodness. And every time I thought it can't top that, then you end with the mom and dad and they're all back together. But listen, giving Mr. Carter and those kids a standing ovation. That was amazing. Amazing. And they live in Cincinnati, you said.
Cincinnati, Ohio. Robert Carter is a small business owner doing the best he can, Gail.
And he's only 33 with 5 children. Yeah. The kids seem fantastic, too. What were they like, David?
They were so polite. There are rules in the house, and what I love about them, I think the first rule they told me was we have to be nice to each other. Robert Carter is as model a parent as I have ever met, and I'm so in awe of it, given the fact that he really had no great examples growing up.
Yes, yes.
How about that? One of the takeaways is turning your trauma into fuel.
Yes.
David, as
Bingo.
usual, thank you. We appreciate you.